Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our first segment for the morning. This one is all about, some Belmapan stuff.
Belmapan, people leave at the house, John feels left out.
I'll tell you what, you don't mind me about it. We have Belmapan people. It's all about the Belmopan Trojans and their training camp right here at home in Belize. And to tell us all about it, we've got Dr. Robert Harris, representative of A Heart for Kids Foundation, and also Aldo Manzanero, coordinator for Belmopan Trojan Development Program. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
I hope that's how we say it in Belmopan language. Good morning and welcome. Just messing with you guys, just messing with you. Well, primarily, when we hear about the Belmopan Trojans, what are we talking about here? What kind of camp is this? What sporting activity we're talking about here? Tell us about the Belmopan Trojans.
The Belmopan Trojans is a development program, primarily tied to basketball. We try to deal with development on all stages, so we offer scholarships, we do mentorship, especially in regards to male mentorship. There's a mentorship program, and then of course we do kids from the ages of 5 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 15, and then as old as they want to be.
So you don't have an age gap, you take them till...
That is a very important part of it, in regards to moving kids from one age group and one skill set to the other. So progressing them to a level that they could perhaps seek, opportunities outside of Belize or scholarships within Belize. We have a lot of our kids, probably 1 out of every 4 of our kids get a scholarship at some tertiary institution or
here at home and abroad.
Yes.
How do you keep them engaged? That is impressive that you're able to do that, because after a certain age they kind of go off on their own. How do you keep them engaged?
Like I mentioned, the mentoring program is very important to us. So being in the program for 15 years, having the program for 15 years, we have guys that have started, they've progressed, and then they engage the younger guys, keep the younger guys in check. So it's kind of like the guys call themselves uncles, or apparently I'm the granddad now, so so that's how we keep them in check. The kids primarily follow. They want to be engaged. They want to, every kid wants to be with the older guys. So when the older guys, like for example, the juniors are the coaches for the Pee-wee camps. So they engage. So I have really great guys. They basically made themselves coaches and coordinators themselves. So I don't even have to go to the camps anymore. They coordinate. They get the kids ready. They run the camp. They make sure the kids get to their parents. And then the older guys keep those guys in check and just keep them motivated.
So it's a follow through situation from Pee-wee all the way up to adulthood.
Yes.
But so from the inception of this, which is 15 years now, what was the mindset, and do you feel that the Trojans have actually made that, or actually hit your threshold or hit your goal in terms of trying to get these guys aligned, or these students aligned?
Well, I'd say that the good thing about goals is that they're always changing. So we're always meeting a plateau and then seeking another plateau, which is why we partnered with A Heart for Kids. We have our kids, like I said, our kids get scholarships, our kids get offers, our kids are amazing kids. But we want, this next plateau is now seeking an expansion. So when I partnered with A Heart for Kids, about last year, we discussed a way to increase the capacity of coaches, the capacity of players in the country, and that's where this Belize Basketball Classic came about.
Nice.
So we're right now, we have, next week we'll be having a coaches clinic, Monday in Belize City at the Civic Center, and then on Thursday we'll be having a player camp for the U16 team. We worked with the federation in regards to gathering a group of kids, and hopefully working with the coaches that are coming, amazing coaches. Probably I've never heard of coaches at that level in Belize before. With those level of coaches and working with A Heart for Kids, expanding kids and their capacities even more.
Okay, so I want to bring Dr. Harris into the conversation. Tell us about A Heart for Kids and how you actually came to collaborate with the Belmapan Trojans.
So first and foremost, I am born and raised, in Belmapan, and so for me that collaboration was just organic. Aldo is a guy that I went to elementary school with, and so I've known him for quite a few years. A Heart for Kids, really the premise behind us is to create opportunities to poverty and inequity, and so certainly we recognize that we have a tremendous level of talent here in Belize, whether that's, looking from athletics to academics, to really anything that our kids aspire, to achieve. And so in hearing that, Aldo was at the forefront of this organization, for me, it was definitely a must that we really look at what those opportunities are for our kids and really try to find ways to expand that as much as possible.
Yeah.
So this first event is really just our opportunity to get a first look and to allow some of these coaches from the U.S. to come in and take a look at what talent we have here right in our own jewel, and then see what happens from there, what transpires from there.
With Heart for Kids, is it homegrown Belizean?
So our work, again, had to start in Belize. So it is a U.S.-based 501c3 public charity. But again, for me, we wanted to do international work, and we had to start our international work right here in Belize. There was no other place we were going to start. So
this is your first collaboration with the Trojans?
With the Trojan. We have done work previously in Roaring Creek. I went to, it was called the Roaring Creek Nazarene School at the time, but Raymond Shepherd Nazarene School right now. And so I'm a proud alumni of the Raymond Shepherd Nazarene School. And so again, that was where we had to start. So last year was really the beginning for us, and so we started with some renovations, distributed school supplies to all of the students, and that was really our origination. And so we plan on continuing in that realm as well, but this was just an additional layer that we wanted to explore. And again, we had to start there in Belmapan, and we had to start with the Trojans. So.
Tell us about the Trojans in terms of competitions, because I know we always hear about like the Amadea basketball team and so forth. You're playing here at home. Tell us about where the Trojans have done their competitions.
Well, our kids normally participate in tournaments in Petén, Guatemala. There are 2 tournaments. They run pretty much a majority of the year. So you're only really at home maybe a couple of weeks of the year. And then we play 4 times a year in Mexico.
Okay.
We were part of a club program because we have a club. So we are part of a club program. We play. It used to be the Gatorade circuit, but now it's run by the government. So we have to play once every 3 months in Mexico, Cancun, Bacalar, Chetumal, and then Cancun again. So the kids get to go 2 times a year to Cancun. So primarily play outside, and we see that is important because it's good for them to see outside of Belize and have higher goals.
Of course,
and aspire. And then we personally believe that they can only dream what they see.
Yeah.
So if this is all they see, then this is what they're limited to.
Exactly.
We don't want to limit them to that. So we have taken kids into camp, in 5-star camp in the States. And that's something that we're going to continue. We're going to take a group to, hopefully with some fundraising, we're going to do a group in Canada this year. So we're going to travel to Canada this year, take a group to Canada so it's always taking them out as much as possible.
What are your hopes for the teaming up or the collaboration with a Heart for Kids Foundation? What do you hope to come out of it?
We have high aspirations. We have great goals. We were just talking on the way here. We're hoping that we can have some type of athletic academy in Belize, dedicated to sports, finding kids in not so great situations and taking them out of that situation, put them in a better situation, offering them all the facilities that they may not have had at home, and screen that towards getting scholarships and getting out of Belize. So that's a really big thing in regards to continuing this program, bringing in coaches, hopefully at some point taking out talent to different places in the United States. So exporting our kids early. We have a very famous kid that went out last year in Nisani. We got him very young. He traveled with us to Petén. He was just a kid, and then he grew, and then of course he started to aspire. And that's what we want for all our kids. So we're hoping that this collaboration and others to come in regards to coaches and Heart for Kids, that we can keep kids just looking outside and looking for bigger goals and higher goals.
You did mention scholarship opportunities, and I feel that is definitely the goal, to try and primarily educate these children, and then again trying for them to to move at the top of the chain in terms of trying to find your way into the NBA and different leagues. How many of that do you see happening, or since your 15 years of the Trojans, how many students have been receiving scholarships through your program?
1 out of every 4 of my kids receive a scholarship.
That's
Wow,
good.
that's
So
really
That's serious.
yes,
Yes.
one of every 4. That's,
Local scholarships or international and local?
we have a mixture of local and international, some in Mexico, some in a couple in the States, Merida, well, Mexico as well, and then of course you have all the schools in Belize have some representation of a Trojan.
Trojan.
Yeah, so
Wow.
and some, SJC, UB, Galen University, Sacred Heart College, and our new thing is now, it has always been, one of our goals has always been to integrate women into sports. So our collaboration with the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous People, one of the things now is to expand, because we've always had the only female program in Belize.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've always had only female programs since 2008. So now it's not the time to expand the females, taking them out more, because we primarily competed only males, girls once in Petem, but never in Mexico. So with their help and the help of our Heart for Kids, now it's time to emphasize females, because scholarship opportunities exist for females as well. So for every male that normally is given a athletic scholarship in the States, there's a female. So there's a counterpart where there are less females, so the opportunities is better for them.
Yeah.
So it's now time to grasp that opportunity and push the ladies forward.
So when it comes to the Heart for Kids Foundation, tell us about how you guys are helping out with this camp. How long is this camp going to be? What are you planning to be the outcome of this camp?
So essentially, again, it's really about exposure for our kids, and in this instance, we'd be looking at exposure to coaches who can really demonstrate and bring their skill level to another domain. And so that's really what the outlook is for this camp, is just having them connect with. We have representatives from the G League, from the NBA, and then also from the high school realm. And so we do have one of our top CIF, California Interscholastic Federation basketball coaches that will be here to work with our kids. And so really that's the outlook, is to just create that opportunity and that level of exposure, so that they know when you hit that precipice, this is what that looks like. And so it's not just presenting perhaps a dream to our kids, but what does that dream look like when you actually reach it,
So when is the camp and how long is it going to be for?
So it starts on the 25th, so that is on Monday. And so that will be our coaches clinic, our coaches camp. And so again, that is the goal there is to create that exposure for our coaches, so that they can then take that back to their communities, and the level of product that they create will then be different. That's the theory behind it. And then the clinic for the players, we're looking at Thursday. This following Thursday will be the clinic for the players.
Is there a cap on how many people could participate?
So the number we were looking at, that's a great question. Yeah, that's why he's over here smiling. The number we were looking at was 50. We really had a lot of conversation about that, because we recognized with these type of opportunities, we could end up with 1,000, 5,000 people.
Yep.
There are a lot of
That's why you have
to be a part of it.
Yes, and so that for this first opportunity, we're looking at 50 coaches, and we're looking at about 50 players for the respective days.
And you already have people signed up?
Coaches, we've already have coaches signed up. Players, we reached out to the Belize Basketball Federation in regards to getting they're currently undertaking their U16 ground of training and getting ready for a tournament in December. So we reached out to them, and they submitted their names that they had addressed, basically identified. So those are the kids we'll be using. There's a couple of other kids that have been added to that list, but yeah, the kids one is set. We've already been getting calls for everyone. So hopefully next round we'll be able to expand, and that's what we were talking about as well, expanding, getting more kids involved. But for this one, we did reach out to the federation for the names.
All right. So there are a lot of parents who are watching this right now, knowing that their child loves basketball,
And they have
they might not be a part of Trojan. So how can one become a part of Trojan? Do you just show up? Do you have to do a signing program? What do you have to do?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. We have primarily operated out of Belmapan. Now we're expanding. One thing that we've been pushed to, especially in regards to the Pee-wee and the kids, the female program, is to expand countrywide. So that's what we're on the precipice, using an next word, of doing now. And then in regards to kids, we're always open to kids. We get kids from everywhere. We have in our program right now. We have kids from Dangriga, from Mango Creek, from Cayo, from Belize City, Orange Walk sometimes. So it's open to everyone. And what we're talking about, and we've always spoke about, especially in our program and in regards to Heart for Kids, is inclusiveness.
Yeah.
So no one is excluded. So it's open to everyone. The only thing that limits us is, of course, facilities. Right now, time. Of course, volunteer coaches is always, but we have great coaches and great people in Belize that are willing to work. So so joining the Belmopan Trojans, you just contact us and we'll find a way for you to
You
become
could
a
just
Trojan.
back up the hilltop and
Yeah.
start there.
That's what it normally starts actually. They're like, hey, what's going on over there? Can we start? And and that's how it goes. Yeah,
Bring them in.
definitely.
So, one of the things I always say, for anything to work, there must be a buy-in process. We're talking about, Give Your Heart to a Kid Foundation. You guys are bringing international coaches who worked along with the NBA and, pick or leave it. When we talk international coaches, these guys work along with NBA players like the LeBrons and the Steph Currys, and talk to us about that.
Yeah. So the coach that I mentioned that is from the high school realm. You might have heard of this player, Paul George.
Yeah,
you might have heard of him.
Everybody know PG. Come on.
So he was actually Paul George's high school coach.
Cool.
And so he has worked with Paul George, and then Christian Wood is another player.
Yeah, Christian Wood.
He was with the Rockets and now with the Mavericks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So those are two guys that he has helped to get to that.
Good trade,
level.
by the way.
Yes. Yes. It was a great trade. Great trade. And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
But
We don't have enough time.
Yeah, I know. I got you. And then of course the guys that are in the at the NBA realm and the G League realm, and we also have one guy that's coming in from Mississippi State, so also a college coach. Those guys, yes, they rub shoulders and bump shoulders with all of the greats that you see, on TV. And so definitely we want to create those opportunities.
Right.
Part of what we'll be doing for the coaches clinic is there's an after, and this was very important for the coaches coming in, there's an after clinic event where it's just a social event where guys get to do all the Q&A, ask about questions similar to what you just asked, get the full scope of that experience, of what that coaching life looks like.
Sweet.
And how long does this camp last, you said?
So there are 2 days. There are two actual clinic days, and then there are also some other, and so that's the Monday and Thursday of next week.
Okay.
And then there are other events that are taking place that our coaches will be involved. So we do want them to have exposure to other areas of the country. So we've been really strategic about that because there are other.
Griga?
Well, that'll be next time. That'll be next time. You put me on the spot. That'll be next time. So we are going to, of course, get guys down to Belmapan. That was very important to get them in that region.
Yeah.
And then because we do want them to have exposure to, as we move forward, we want them to see that environment that they'll be in and connect with some of the people as well.
Yeah.
And so there's some pieces like that that are integrated into the week as well.
All right.
Guys, are there any final words, Aldo, for our viewers?
Yeah.
For
This
viewers,
big camp coming up,
Yes,
bro.
this is a big camp. This is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Don't play it.
As with everything else, we just have to thank the people that assisted us, our sponsors. We have several great sponsors: Protel BPO, Transparent Global.com, Radisson Fort George, the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous People Affairs, Minister Paris of Blue Economy, Belize Eco Tours, and there's a couple more sponsors. Haven't missed them, but we'll be highlighting them in the future. We want to ask people that are willing to work with us. Reach out. We're here to work with kids. We're here to work with players, with coaches as much as possible. So, and of course, there are always opportunities if we have sponsors. So, if anyone wants to sponsor, get ready for next year's program in regards to starting to sponsor early, getting kids involved early, getting programs in different satellite places. Even if you don't want to be at Trojan, if you want to have a kids program, we're willing to work with you and to help you develop that. So those are the things that we leave it.
All right.
And that?
Yeah, similar to the sentiment that Aldo just expressed, definitely want to express my appreciation for all of our sponsors. This is truly a united, collaborative effort, and I feel like that is one of the hallmarks of success, is we have all of our stakeholders that are involved in the benefit of our kids. And so definitely want to express my thanks for that. And then also just to, the Belmopan Trojans for this is something that has taken over a year to really put together and plan and collaborate. And so definitely want to express my appreciation to Aldo and the Belmopan Trojan as well, just for the time and effort and willingness to be flexible and collaborative on this effort.
Because together, guys, we surely can. Speaking of together, we're so thankful that you guys could have joined us this morning. Thank you, and best of luck. Speaking of togetherness, though, April, there is an inspirational story, and this one has been in the forefront for a couple of years now. An inspirational story that's coming up in just a few back-to-school haircuts. They put that together, and you'll hear the successes of it. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us.